Hey everyone, Aaron here with a few quick updates for you. First, the episode you're about to listen to on Space Jam was recorded back in 2017 and recorded in a public place for a litany of reasons. So the audio isn't going to be as clean as our usual stuff. I've cleaned it up as best I can, but there's only so much I can do. Our usual stuff will return in about a week or so, covering both favorites of Ryan and myself before we begin our next season proper, which is actually going to be on the film catalog of Studio Ghibli. The format will also be a bit different, so get ready for that. Second, we're doing some major rebranding for the channel and the network, as it were. The YouTube channel will either be renamed or moved to a new channel in the coming weeks. It'll be an adjustment, to be sure. We'll also be launching a website over the summer, assuming I can find a spare hour or two to throw something together. The idea is for this to be a central hub for all of our content. This will also work in conjunction with our Patreon campaign, which will have more exclusive content coming, such as behind-the-scenes shenanigans and a few other things. Remember that every dollar you donate to it can help, even just $1. It'll help keep shows like After Credits and upcoming projects alive and well. Speaking of which, third, we have a new show we intend to launch in August, maybe September, but we're aiming for August. It will be called Ringside Ramble, where Nicole and myself discuss cult favorite versus movies, such as Godzilla vs. King Kong and Freddy vs. Jason, along with many others you probably have never heard of. I am sorry. However, this show will be more scripted and aiming to be more like sketch comedy than what you see here on After Credits Cast. I highly encourage you to check it out when it is available. And for all our shows, please leave reviews, ratings on your podcast platform of choice and share it with friends. It's the best way to get us noticed, and even on recommended lists of stuff like iTunes. It would mean a lot. Finally, because we had this extended downtime going on, I want to recommend a couple podcasts for you to fill the void while we're working hard on production over here at evacstation. If you like Marvel-based content like we did in our first season, please check out DuckFeed.tv's Days of Futurecast, where they discuss old X-Men cartoons, movies, and more. It's actually kind of hilarious and full of cheesy 90s charm. I'm pretty sure you guys will enjoy it if you enjoyed our X-Men, or if you enjoyed our Marvel stuff. If you like movie podcasts such as ours, I have a few to recommend. Jimquisition does a show called The Spin-Off Doctors, which is exclusively about video game-based movies and adaptations, and it's just as depressing as you would expect it to be. Also, Funhouse, a spin-off of Rooster Teeth, has a series called Film House, which is a little of everything, but they have done more recent films as well. If you like getting more philosophical in your film discussion, I cannot forget to recommend Wisecracks, Show Me the Meaning, and their other podcast, The Squanch, both of which discuss either movies or Rick and Morty, respectively, in ways that we can really hardly ever cover in our shows. And if you just like podcasts, I will always recommend Welcome to Night Vale. Always. Sorry for the long intro, but I wanted to leave you with something before we take off one more week to get our affairs in order over here. After this episode, we will launch the Season 2 of our show with Jurassic Park on June 22nd, very timely. We will end the little favorites with Matrix Reloaded on June 29th, and Studio Ghibli will begin officially in July. And if you would like to submit comments or concerns, we're not going to be doing a listener question of the week for this season. We'll instead be doing more of a general mailbag. So if you have any thoughts on any Studio Ghibli anime in general, or just comments about our show, we would love to hear them, and we will read them either as we receive them, or if we think we're getting too much, or it feels more appropriate to do it at the end of the season, we might do it then as well. But please send whatever you can. We would love to hear from you guys, and as always, we will see you after the credits. Have a good day. Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the After Credits podcast. I am your host, Aaron, and welcome to the Slam Jam. With me today, I have many people to join me on this adventure into Space Jam. With me on my literal right is Amanda.
Hello.
Across from me is Nicole.
And Kay. We actually have a table this time.
We do. We also have Aaron right next to her.
I have birds.
Next to her is Max.
There is a gong, everybody, and it's a cake shake.
The shake-up cake.
And then to my immediate left is Ryan.
Can confirm we have actual 3D table in physical
We
condition.
actually say where we are sitting. Yeah.
And also, Ryan can now punch me. I say it.
Now, if this does make it out onto the internet, I apologize for the background noise. There's a shit ton of it. We are actually recording at Starbucks, much like our Taco Cast, literally 5 years ago. Probably. I don't remember the exact time. Taco Cast is a lot quieter, though. So we're going to see if this works. Yep. That's where Gary actually tried the Doritos taco. It was pretty fun.
This podcast brought to you by Starbucks.
Brought to you by Starbucks and the loud music is playing. So here we go, and we're going to give this a shot. Oh, stay on, you son of a bitch. There we go.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
So, podcast time. Let's go ahead and discuss what we're talking about. So we decided we were going to do Space Jam for the very first movie for this podcast.
Come on, slam!
I believe I can fly.
There's so much good music involved. So, for
There's
those...
actual punching going on.
For those who don't know, I have a few facts about the movie getting it set up. So this came out in 1996. It was a movie that was inspired by the commercials that were originally from Nike for the promoting of the Air Jordans, which combined Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan in a really bizarre product placement. They eventually made a movie out of it. It was directed by Joe Pyrica. I don't know how you pronounce that. It stars Michael Jordan, Newman, Theresa Randall, Larry Bird, Bill Murray, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Tyrone Boggs, Larry Johnson, Sean Bradley, the greatest Danny DeVito, and I was surprised to find out Billy West actually plays a majority of the Looney Tunes characters. Yeah, Philip J. Fry. I am impressed. So let's see, what else do I have for short facts? Okay, that's all my short facts or notes here. So with that, now you have the basics of what this movie is. It's a movie where we have Michael Jordan playing basketball with cartoon characters. And so Ryan, I'm gonna hand the mic over to you. You are our synopsis guy. Lead us down this insane path of what Slam Jam, Space Jam really is.
Lord have mercy. Okay. So the movie opens on a young Michael Jordan shooting hoops well into like midnight and talking to his father about what he wants to do. He wants to become an NBA champion. He wants to do all these things in the great game of basketball. And then at the end of that, he wants to settle down and play professional baseball, just like his dad did.
And funny story, his dad actually was like that in real life.
Yeah, no, I believe it. Fast forward to the early 90s when Michael Jordan retired for the first time from the game of basketball, saying that he had achieved everything he had set out to do. He had reached the pinnacle of the game. There was no more for him to do, so he wanted to get into professional baseball, and he was following his plan.
And again, just like in real life too. He
Yep.
actually did retire from basketball the first time. He went out to baseball, and he came back to do basketball again, but we'll find that out at the end of the movie.
Yeah, with spoilers, sir. Spoilers.
It's the after credits cast. They know it's
Spoilers!
They know it's spoilers.
You're spoiling my synopsis, sir. I need you to chill. So, one problem with this plan, Michael Jordan is absolutely abysmal at the game of baseball.
Like, how abysmal are we talking here?
I mean, he's
He's
pretty
going to go
damn
for a
bad.
curveball. Don't swing.
Yeah, no, that was the real bad part of it, though. Everybody around him was so suck-up-ish because, oh my god, it's Michael Jordan. I just want to talk to him and be in the presence of greatness, that they all forewent the fact that he absolutely sucked at baseball. Everybody was trying to give him every single
I have
leg
another
up.
question then.
Go ahead.
In real life, is Michael Jordan actually bad at baseball?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just to
No, he is
clarify.
bad. He plays golf in his off time, and he's fairly good at golf.
Okay.
But
Alright.
not enough to play professionally. And he should have took the hint with baseball, but he did not. He wanted to try something new.
Well, he wanted to honor his dad, who was a baseball player, semi-pro, and he actually wanted to stick with it because he wanted to show respect to his dad in his career like that.
Very true, very true. But the fact that he couldn't play and the fact that everybody around him seemed oblivious to that fact, it was making for some really tough life situations for Michael Jordan, as tough as they can be, being, Michael Jordan. At this...
Man, should I spend $1 million to not play baseball anymore? Huh.
So what
I've got $80 million left.
we've learned so
I'll be
far,
fine.
Jordan's good with balls, but not good with long shafts.
I can't refute you, sir.
It also sounds like he's good with big balls, and not small balls.
Yeah, it's kind of...
It's gonna be big balls.
The larger the ball, the bigger he
So,
seems
more
to
like-
get,
so
the better.
Do a quick aside here. So, between the past segment and his baseball segment, we actually do get a very nice intro not intro, like a credit sequence with some really slam jamming music.
Yes, some fantastic slam
So I want to
jam
point
music.
out, real quick, there's a really good list of artists in this movie,
Come on, slam,
including
and welcome
Seal,
to the jam.
Julio, Quad City DJs, R. Kelly, LL Cool J, D'Angelo, Monica, Salt and Peppa, Chris Rock, I wrote Chris, I don't know why, Barry White, and All for One.
Wow.
Wait, did you say Barry White?
Barry White, son. I'm sorry, is Betty White on this track? Did we get her to record a verse?
I was imagining like a slightly... Actually, in my mind, Betty White wasn't younger, because in my head, Betty White just kind of came out of the womb.
It's just
like that.
eternally aged.
Kind of like Benjamin Button.
As a golden
Yes.
girl. Yeah.
But no, so there's a major list of good music here, and the intro sequence is just one example. The acting may not be on par, but the music is just up.
The acting is not on at all. But
It's hitting some foul balls, you might say.
yes.
Leave this Starbucks.
See, y'all can't see my expression
They heard
over the
they heard the table slam.
Now, for our,
Yeah,
viewers,
it's the table.
for our viewers out there, you have to keep in mind that Ryan actually means it when he wants to kill me on the podcast. And now he is mere centimeters away from my throat.
I
You
am.
were the one that was hitting him at the beginning of the podcast, dude. What are you talking about?
Okay, so after we learn that his baseball career is not great, we
All right.
introduce a new character.
Yes, after that, we take an aside over to Moron Mountain, the best aptly
You're missing
named.
a very pivotal character here. Dennis Nedry Newman.
That's correct.
You can't forget him.
I can't forget my boy Wayne Knight Newman.
Don't forget Newman.
Don't forget Newman.
You didn't say the magic word. All right. So right before we jump to the aside, one of the many hangers-on, but one of the pivotal hangers-on to Michael Jordan's abysmal baseball career is
And
his.
his basketball career.
No, he had a fantastic basketball
I'm
career,
just
sir.
throwing shade, my dude.
But aside from that, one of his principal hangers-on is his personal assistant, Stan. Stan?
I'm calling him Newman. I don't care what his real name is.
Just name is Newman.
All right, so in the movie, his name is Stan. He will be referred to as Newman from henceforth. But Newman,
And if we
Wayne
have to
Knight.
record this, that'll be the same joke we use.
Absolutely. But Newman is his personal assistant, very, very, very all up in his personal space, trying to assist him in any way, shape, or form possible. But yeah, he will be pivotal in the movie to come. Now we do the aside to the antagonists of the story. The warning bell is
We're
key for
overtime.
this. But we go over to Moron Mountain, where it is being it's a horrible alien amusement park. Lord have mercy! What are we dying? All right, so Moron Mountain. It's a really shitty rundown amusement park, run by a big green alien whose name escapes me, but is played by Danny DeVito.
I have it written down. His name is actually Swackhammer.
What?
Swackhammer.
Swag Hammer?
As in,
Swag Hammer?
I swag Ryan.
Can we just call him Swag Hammer from
I'm just going to call him DeVito.
Alright, DeVito.
I'm cool with Swag Hammer.
Alright, Swag Hammer, a.k.a. Swag Hammer, a.k.a. DeVito, a.k.a. the Penguin, and many other names. A.k.a. Frank. This man is running Moron Mountain, but is really, really unhappy with the low turnout and just everything, the overall state of it.
So like Danny DeVito in real life.
Yeah, so Danny DeVito in real life.
Like his character Frank.
Yes.
Ouch.
So, of course, Mr. DeVito, Swag Hammer, Swank, Frank, whatever the fuck his name is, he has 5 very small, very overworked assistants that he kind of torments in an effort to kind of brainstorm. And he says, we need new attractions, trying to figure out what's going on.
He didn't think of the Jurassic Park exhibit. That would have been great.
He did not think of that. Boo-hoo for him. So in his ramblings, he sits on a TV remote, and lo and behold, on the television screens behind him pops up a bunch of Looney Tunes cartoons. And of course, his small assistants say, "Oh man, do we want something more loony?" And he says, "Yes, the Looney Tunes. I want those guys. I want those guys to be here as our new attractions." That's a very smart business model. One of the small ones brings up the fact, "Well, sir, the Looney Tunes are from Earth. You know, what if they can't come?" And Danny DeVito says, "What if they can't come? Make them come." That's the end of that.
And in his
As
assistant...
soon as he said make him, I just imagined Frank just pulling around in his money making. Like, make him.
I just need to point out that I imagine his assistants at this point, after make 'em, they're like, I don't think that's how it works. But also, you mentioned that this was a very good business practice.
Yeah.
I said it was a good business idea to bring the Looney Tunes in for more money.
I would debate otherwise. Because you have like an alien who's never seen a rabbit before, and what up that? And that's gonna scare some like green kids, dude.
Yeah.
Who in the right mind would be scared by the Looney Tunes?
What if they don't know who the Looney Tunes are?
Testing demo is pretty
It's
scary.
not like they have a reference.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, anyway. So we cut to the 5 little aliens working for Danny de Swag Hammer. Taking a flying convertible Cadillac spaceship thingy-mabobber, what have you.
The Space Pitmobile.
The Space Pitmobile. Down to Looney Tunes land, where they encounter one Bugs Bunny. He says, "Hey, we're looking for Bugs Bunny in the Looney Tunes. Have you seen him?" He says, "Yeah." Does he have big long ears like this?
Oh, he goes to the whole
He goes to the whole bit,
Wait, right,
like trying to point out every single way that he is in fact Bugs Bunny. And they're like, "Yeah, have you seen him?" He says, "No, I never heard of him." Starts walking away. When they realize they've been duped, they pull out alien zap guns and shoot up all of the
Everything.
area surrounding him. So Bugs realizes these guys mean business. He calls all the Looney Tunes together to let them know, "Hey, so we have alien invaders that are showing up, and they kind of want to just take us into slavery," which isn't, all that great.
Am I listening to U.S. history right now?
Yes.
I do have a counter on that later when we get to more details.
Okay, so more details will
This
follow.
is getting like dark part kids like guns shooting up.
Well, remember the Looney Tunes? They had a very racial stereotype characters, anti-World War II propaganda, and they even had violence with guns and stuff. So this is not.
That's Yosemite Sam.
This is
All day.
This is the darkest Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
I'm hunting rabbits. But Bugs manages to trick the alien invaders into allowing them a chance to defend themselves. So Bugs and the rest of the gang are like, "Well, what are we gonna pick the challenge? What are we gonna do
Wait,
for
can I
them?"
call it? Can I call it?
Can I interrupt actually?
Yes.
So they have a council of a few Looney Tunes to decide what they're going to do. And the council consists of Bugs, Daffy, the 2 classics, and Porky, as well as Elmer Fudd and Sylvester the Cat.
And Yosemite Sam.
No, Yosemite Sam wasn't back in there.
Yeah, he was.
In that small room after the meeting?
Yes, sir.
I didn't see him.
He was indeed.
Okay, so let's say he's in. I'll agree with you. Why were they the ones picked? I get Bugs and I get Porky to an extent, but none of the other ones have the mental capacity to actually reason any real plan.
I think they're just the most well the most well known.
No, but like Foghorn and Leghorn should have been in there probably.
Fair.
Tweety probably too.
Quite fair.
Can I?
What is this?
Ryan, can I?
What is this lighting?
Can I call what Danny DeVito challenged them to?
Not yet.
Well, they challenged Danny DeVito to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they're sitting there picking out their options. They're reviewing their competition. They said, well, the little guys are pretty small. They're not strong. They're not fast. They can't jump very high. They have very short arms.
So apparently they're going to do the high jump.
So they're big. Yeah.
Wait, no, I know. Let's challenge them to a game of basketball.
Damn it,
And
I
so
thought it was synchronized swimming.
they might actually have them there. I don't know.
Could they absorb the talent of synchronized swimmers? I think that'd be tough. See, I'm trying to get that thing.
Man, we're getting there. We're getting there.
They have Daffy, man. He'll
Man,
carry.
that would be a lot of fan service, because they already got it with Lola Bunny. Yeah. Think of the aliens and speedos.
Y'all are jumping all ahead of the synopsis.
We really are. We need to respect the synopsis.
The synopsis, damn
Fucking
it.
Ryan.
Damn it. My soul. Anyway, so they introduce the aliens to the game of basketball and say, yes, this is what we're challenging you to. If we win, you guys leave. If we lose, we go into slavery. Pretty straightforward.
And they're like, what's basketball?
What's basketball? They show him a clip of very, very old school basketball players back in the days when they were all white. And
They say the NBA has the best players in the world.
right, which they hear and they automatically say, "Hey, we have an idea." So they sneak into various NBA games. And they proceed in a very actually yes.
It's just the one game.
No, because they stole from different people.
But from two different teams in the same game.
They didn't all come from the same two different teams.
I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure they all played on different teams.
For those who are watching watching anything in comments, please respond to the comments. Let us know if it was.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. I'm pretty sure there were
I
multiple
need to
games.
ask a very philosophical question right here, right now.
Boy,
How the fuck does a Looney Tune sneak into a game filled with three-dimensional people?
They wore a big trench coat.
yes. So it's the five little aliens. They all stacked on top of each other and put on a trench coat and a hat.
Now, this actually brings me to a very important, what I'm going to call bold concept here. Okay, I have 3 of these right now. So my bold concept is this. So confidence and skill and talent, are they like tangible elements? And here's where I'm going with this here. So the aliens steal the talent of these NBA players, but what exactly is talent, Ryan? And how is it tangible? Hey, what is it? A tangible, quantifiable element?
I'll define talent.
Is it DNA? Is it magic? Is it mojo? Or is talent just a metaphor for confidence, like we're going to find later when Michael Jordan introduces his special stuff?
I'm just gonna throw this. Wait, his special stuff?
I honestly
That
believe
comes
it.
later in the synopsis.
I believe the ooze that they take from these players isn't actually anything more than just confidence. It boosts these aliens up with this confidence juice, is what it is.
Alright, I'm just gonna establish this right here. Talent is something that we don't have, and that's the basis that we're gonna go off of this.
Speak for yourself, sir. I have
Nicole's got
talent.
something.
Yeah, I have a very important question here. What flavor is the confidence juice?
I would say it's cherry flavor. Cherry is a very confident flavor.
I don't know. The goop that they took that they put on the players and took from them was purplish in tint.
All right, maybe grape.
I would think it
People
was
like
grape.
grapes.
I mean, I'd be down for grape.
I guess that's why I don't have confidence, is because I don't like grape.
No, I actually think it could be a metaphor for confidence here.
I think it goes a little further than that because they actually manifest like physical qualities once they take the talent
Well,
from
yes,
other
yes, but they
people.
take them on and they think that they're going to become these big, epic heroes, and to them, these heroes are monsters. And here's a question I have for you. So later in the movie, I know I'm jumping ahead here, but later in the movie, we see these aliens have like really amazing powers. One of which is breathing fire. Now, I can't imagine Charles Barkley gives them the ability to breathe fire. That's ridiculous.
They really don't.
All right.
Oh my
so,
god. Okay, should I get back to the synopsis?
Yes, I just want to interrupt with
One second. I have to
concept.
make one more joke before we get back to the synopsis. When you're watching Space Jam.
Damn it.
When you're watching. I'll leave a
God.
Anchor link in the description, just so you guys know what I'm referring to.
All the memes.
All of the memes.
Alright, so,
All
so
of
we,
the-
we have them getting the juice.
Alright, so yes,
Confidence, great
the aliens are sneaking into NBA games, stealing the talents from very, very prominent NBA players. And the prominent NBA players of the
The
time.
quotes were around the talent.
Oh. So you had Charles Barkley, you had Patrick Ewing, you had Muggsy Bogues, and a couple other guys whose talent / confidence / what have you gets snatched. Now we go back to Looney Tunes land, where they're getting ready to. They're trying to figure out. The Looney Tunes themselves are actually trying to figure out how to play the game of basketball because they've never really played it before, but they figured they could pick it up enough to beat these small little bugs on the court.
I like Daffy's fashion show.
Wait, their plan was just like, so we have these big leather balls. We're gonna play a pickup game of this ball game.
Yes,
We're gonna learn it in about 24 hours.
yes,
And we're gonna drink some grape juice.
No.
We're gonna get some confidence.
no. The Looney
great
Tunes
compliment.
just figured. The Looney Tunes just figured, from a physical standpoint, they can beat these small aliens in a game of basketball without really knowing what the hell the game of basketball was.
Yeah.
That being said, all of the aliens came down to the court to practice. They absorbed the talent and became transformed into these huge versions of themselves with ridiculous strength and physical capabilities, along with all of the knowledge of the game of basketball.
So like most pro baseball players, they took steroids.
Yes, they roided up really bad. And
Talent is steroids.
yes,
Confidence is steroids.
Oh, there you go.
talent is confidence, is steroids, is talent, is yes, everything. It's all flavored grape.
I'm gonna give myself some confidence here.
So it's at this point that the Looney Tunes realize they need a little bit of help in dealing with this. They need a ringer, like for lack of a better term, they need a ringer. So while Michael Jordan is playing a round of golf with Bill Murray and Larry Bird and his assistant
Wait a second.
Newman.
Hold on. What? So
Bill Murray, yes, Bill Murray's
let
here.
me get this straight. Michael Jordan plays golf with Bill Murray.
Yes.
That's what I'm...
I strongly believe. I strongly believe that was IRL. I strongly believe they've played golf in real life.
I feel like they
I want to
just...
ask you an opinion here, Ryan. Just like the day in the end of the movie, Bill Murray saves the film. Wouldn't you agree?
Don't shoot cake out of your nose.
I almost did. He almost got me.
We're almost there.
I'll give you that.
Because the few lines he has are perfect. They're solid gold.
Yes.
He should be in the NBA.
Because Bill Murray is constantly trying to, like Bill Murray's character aspiration in this movie is that now that Michael Jordan has retired from the game of basketball,
And the other players are getting sick.
and the other players are getting sick, it's time for the NBA to start looking elsewhere for their talent. Some guys with some guys with a good degree of skill and ability, but never really thought about playing professionally.
You know, guys with
So,
fundamentals.
but they've got the fundamentals. They've got a solid grasp of it. And so Bill Murray asks Michael Jordan, "Do you think I have a shot in the NBA?" And Michael Jordan says, "No."
He also has-
No.
He also has
You
Larry
don't.
Bird, who wants a second opinion.
Larry Bird says, "No, no, you can't. You can't play NBA. I'm sorry."
I feel like this might have just been an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Between, and like, the director was also there, and like, oh, fuck it, we'll record this.
So also, the Looney Tunes during this time contrive for Michael Jordan to hit a hole-in-one
With
while
magnets.
playing golf with magnets.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. But it's Looney Tunes. It's Looney Tunes. Do not question that.
I'm going to question.
So when Michael Jordan reaches in to pick up his ball out of the hole-in-one, he gets snatched, abducted, you might say, down to Looney Tune Land.
Are you explaining to me Alice in Wonderland?
Yes!
Actually, it has a very Alice in Wonderland feel to it.
Like, I feel like Lewis Carroll wrote this.
Yes.
It's Jordan and Looney Land.
So MJ gets snatched down to Looney Tune Land, and he's given the whole spiel about how, hey, the aliens are trying to abduct us into slavery, and we need your help to avoid that by playing in a pickup game of basketball.
I have two things.
Oh, God.
Number one, so in this little scene, Daffy Duck reveals he's a doctor. What is his degree? What kind of doctor is this insane duck?
Like, where did he get it? Where did he get the degree?
Looney Tunes University.
He doesn't even wear pants. And they trust him to work on it.
I know plenty of pediatric practitioners that don't wear pants.
No! Sir, please.
So Ryan, this introduces my second bold concept.
Oh, boy.
So my second bold concept is this. So it's anti-slavery and racial equality. So,
welcome to the new podcast where we go over U.S. history.
So the Toons, normally played by white male actors, are requiring the assistance of Michael Jordan, who's, as you can tell, an African American. So, to keep them out of slavery from the hand of aliens, likely illegal. This race reversal of race-based slavery may be to have the Arvin audience sympathize with the plight of the characters, because in the 90s, you have to realize that most of the kids watching stuff are going to be those, the majority of kids, those kind of white little kids who've been watching Looney Tunes since they were little baddies, basically. This is a way of getting them to sympathize with these characters and the plight of slavery in general. It's my thinking. And they're using these animated characters as surrogates to get these children sympathized.
Sure, man.
Okay,
sure.
I'm just going to throw this out here. I don't think Joe Pitka thought this far.
No, but I'm allowed to just dig this deep.
He is allowed to dig this deep.
You are allowed.
I have a question here for you, Aaron.
Yes.
What kind of drugs did you bring from Iowa?
Okay, because, right, I've looked at pictures of Joe Pitka, right, and I've seen his, I looked at his works. First of all,
A lot of documentaries.
He only listed 4 movies.
On IMDb, I saw like at least 6 or 7.
That's okay. But you know what?
But only one film. The rest are all documentaries.
One film prior to Space Jam.
It was about Michael Jordan, I think, right?
It was Let It Ride.
Okay.
Which it was like about some dude who got, I don't know. Point is, right, is that I don't think he had the experience at the time to really think this far ahead.
Remember, he's only directing. Other people are writing this at WB. This is back when WB meant something. This is back when WB was good before Man of Steel happened.
I think it was going downhill before Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I think you're giving him way too much credit here, but
Yes.
like pretty much everything Animaniacs.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped caring.
Oh, Animaniacs.
Animaniacs was the pinnacle. Animaniacs was the pinnacle.
And then just downwards.
Don't forget Dark Knight. Dark Knight's in there too.
Okay, and then it kind of went up a little bit, and then just.
Okay. I'll give you that.
So it was more like this, and you know what, viewers? I'm just going to give an audio description as I do it, just to. So goes up at Animaniacs, goes down, goes a bit straight at first. There's a loop-de-loop thing going on somewhere there.
This is a very, very precise bar graph. Or like,
We're watching him right now.
It
He's
goes-
got the numbers to prove it.
Look, I'll pull out a pie chart and Instagram. Don't mess with me. And it does a loop-de-loop, and then suddenly Dark Knight goes up, right?
Yeah.
Peaks a little bit more. And then it goes down into the void, into the center of the earth.
that's where the Just Sleep's gonna be at.
Yeah.
So Ryan, anyway, back to our Michael Jordan underground slavery thing.
Now that Aaron is done with his postgraduate thesis on the anti-slavery rhetoric that is Space Jam.
Yep.
Why are we teaching this in philosophy classes at this point?
I have no doubt that
Space
some
Jam.
grad student who was high and trying to figure out what to write his end-of-term paper on pulled out Space Jam and actually wrote this down.
Aaron, if you
I
haven't
want to
read
read that paper. I really want to read that paper.
Aaron,
Like, for real.
Aaron, if you haven't read it, dude, I know what I'm doing in grad school.
If any grad students have done this, please let us know.
Please let us know. We really want to read your paper. We really want to read your paper if you
Nicole
did
and I are
that.
currently pointing at Aaron.
I was a grad student, though, so I don't count.
But I know what I'm doing in grad school now.
So now that we've got Michael caught up on the situation, Michael's first reluctance to the whole situation is not that, that you guys are Looney Tunes, you guys aren't real. It's, no, I don't play basketball anymore. I'm a baseball player now, guys. And they're like, really? Are you really? Then the Monstars show up. The Monstars show up. And, of course, they are just absolute assholes and making fun of Michael Jordan, calling him chicken, all manners of these things. And MJ's like, alright, yeah, I'm gonna play some basketball and knock these guys for a loop. But first things first, guys, I need my stuff from my house. I need my basketball gear, because you pulled me in from playing golf. I'm in cleats and a fucking polo. I can't play basketball right
His
now.
Air Jordan's product placement.
He needs his Nike gear in order to actually play baseball. So we get Daffy and Bugs to go back to the human world.
Which is a very interesting scene.
Which is a very interesting scene, to essentially rob Michael Jordan's house.
With his permission.
With his permission. Is that still...
It was consented robbery.
But it was still breaking and entering, guys.
Guys,
They gave the consent.
they were consenting cartoons. They were allowed.
After a very cute and humorous scene involving Michael Jordan's dog and Michael Jordan's children...
Wait, hold on.
It is PG.
It is
Relax.
PG. I said very cute. I didn't say dark. I said very cute.
There are people out there who would think the other is cute. They're weird.
That's sadly true. Okay, in a very PG scene with the dog and the kids, they managed to get all of MJ's stuff, including his Air Jordans and his North Carolina shorts that he wore under his Chicago Bulls shorts every game. They're for luck. Very important plot point there. But they get that, they manage to bring it back to the Looney Tunes world.
So they, just to clarify, in layman's terms, they went and got his Air Jordan's product placement and his ball sweat covered shorts that he's worn.
He washes
He says
them.
he
He
washes
washes them after every game. The luck is not bacteria, guys. It's not sweat.
The look isn't that musty
It's really not.
virgin smell.
So anyway, we're gonna cut back to a scene because I realized that I skipped one before they went to the real world to get Michael Jordan's stuff.
The introduction of
Right. They come to their recreational facility, the gym. They spit shine the place up to be actual working condition.
Literally.
And MJ's running them through some drills while trying to figure out what talent he's got on the team. Enter in this brand new character who is very interested in playing for the team. A bunny character, a female bunny character, whose name is Lola.
and thus birthed the confused boners of 10-year-olds worldwide.
Yes.
Can confirm.
Can confirm.
And next, the parents had to show Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which was also very weird.
That was also equally confusing.
Bunnies were very confusing times if you were a child.
They really were.
And then entered the internet.
And then the internet came, and then you could get some really weird after stuff.
But Lola Bunny is one of the few Looney Tunes characters who actually shows a real aptitude for the game of basketball. So they've got another semi-ringer in the situation. But this leads them to say, okay, Michael Jordan needs to get his stuff. We get his stuff in. He switches over to full basketball attire. And everybody's very excited to see him. I'm just going to wait for this to end. Da, 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 da.
Everybody want to do a tea. Actually.
Alright, so Michael Jordan is now dressed in his full basketball attire. and it's time for him to see if he remembers how to play the game, which of course he does. Cue a montage of Michael Jordan just dribbling around, slam dunking, finger rolling, layups, all this good stuff. You know, the classic MJ shit.
Yeah.
Now, let's see here. All the while, in the real world, Newman has been digging up this golf course because he's responsible for getting MJ to the game tomorrow.
The baseball game, not the basketball game.
And literally nobody's going to believe that he actually got pulled down the golf hole.
Let me get this straight. He got Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
I made it a verb. And so this guy just goes absolutely mental.
Yes.
No, he was mental to start with.
Well, yes, but like a new level of mental.
So here's how the timeline works, Max, okay? First, he starts off as a mailman, and then he gets a career working for the talent agency of Michael Jordan, where he gets assigned to be his ass kisser for like a good solid, month or two. And then he gets fired because he gets back into basketball, doesn't need him anymore. That's when he becomes a scientist and gets killed on Jurassic Park Island. Yeah, the timeline's correct.
That timeline seems accurate. Can't confirm. But no, Newman has been digging up this golf course all the while trying to find Michael Jordan because holy shit, his career is over if he doesn't. When he spots Daffy and Bugs coming back from robbing MJ's house to get his basketball attire, so somehow he manages to follow them down to Looney Tunes land. And this is how Newman becomes a part of the Toon Squad, which is the official name of the Looney Tunes
Spelled
team.
inaccurately, by the way. It should have been Toon.
Yeah, I don't know why it's Tune, like a song.
Like tune a guitar.
Or yeah.
That's weird. That is weird.
I saw that and I'm like, yeah.
I honestly didn't realize that until just now. Like, yeah, they misspelled tunes for the whole movie.
I didn't even make it know that. I should have remembered it. I'm like, that makes sense.
Golly. All right. So, yes, it's finally time for the big game. I'm pretty sure I didn't skip anything big from there.
Let me check my notes, make
Yeah?
sure. I don't see anything. I think this is where the game starts then, yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, the game starts and it's pretty fucking one-sided. The Monstars are kind of raffle stomping the Looney
Tunes. Throw a fun fact.
Yes, go ahead.
So they go through the introductions of every character on the team, the Toon Squad, like you would in a normal basketball game.
Of course.
And I want to point out a fun fact here. The music they used during the intro for the Toon Squad is, from what I recall, the same music they used for the intro of the Chicago Bulls when they actually played back in the day. I don't think still.
I think yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they still use it, but I know for a fact they did back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. There's so much product placement in this
So,
movie.
so
It's
little
not
reference
even.
scheme. I like it.
It's really cool though. It's really cool. And the game, of course, is pretty one-sided. Although MJ is holding his own, the Monstars are still running through everyone.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Okay, so these aliens, how are they a threat when you have the likes of Wile E. Coyote and Marvin the Martian, who have very advanced technology available at hand?
No, Marvin the Martian's
Is the ref? Well, why isn't he involved? Why are these?
Because he's both a Martian and a Looney Tune.
But why can't they?
Yes,
That's
you're
the reason why
right.
he's the Rock.
So he has to be neutral.
He is the
Okay.
neutral party.
He's Switzerland. Okay. My next follow-up question, though, is how do the Toons have any chance of losing when they have the fucking Roadrunner on their team? He can run circle on everybody like a million times over. No one can.
I don't
touch
think
him.
Roadrunner was actually on the team.
No. In the scene where everyone's injured during the fourth quarter, you do see him like a neck brace, all bandaged up.
That's right. That's
So he
right.
is on there.
Well, I feel like
Didn't
for
they
the
jump and smash him in the ground though?
Something like I don't know, but with how fast he is, he's the Flash of the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be able to touch him.
So I feel like for the first quarter, they were still really intimidated by the Monstars and were trying to play fairly straightforwardly.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't until halftime where the special juice comes in, the special sauce comes
So
in.
we'll just transition to that now. Okay.
Yes. So it comes to halftime, the score's like 68-6 in favor of the Monstars, and the Looney Tunes are really, really dejected. MJ is trying to give them a good pep talk in the locker room about how we still have a whole half to go and all this good stuff. Meanwhile, Bugs knows whom he's talking to, so he's over there filling up a bottle of water, a sports bottle with some water. He slaps a a label on it and writes Michael's secret stuff on it. Afterwards, after Michael's pep talk, he says, that was a really good speech, Doc, but aren't you forgetting something? I mean, your secret stuff. And he shows him the bottle, and Michael's like, I don't know about this. But Bugs is like, no, this is really all we needed to...
And then he drinks it.
And then he drinks it, and affects a very muscular... He hulks out. He affects a very muscular...
Bugs gave him steroids.
Daffy gets it, he hulks out.
Daffy gets it, he hulks out,
and a roid rage
a great placebo effect happens as everybody is drinking this water and
concept.
Getting full concepts.
So
before I get to the full concept, though, I want to point out a plot point you forgot, though.
Oh, please.
So Newman actually gets into the opposing team's locker room and spies on them, and finds out that the other team is using the talent of the NBA players.
Oh, thank you. You're right.
And because of this, he tells the team, and they have to then figure out how to win to get that confidence back to the players, so they can be good players again.
Very true.
Now for the
bold concept.
Now for the bold concept. Now, performance-enhancing drugs and the placebo thing.
Okay, hold on. Aaron, I'm just going to warn you right now. Are you about to suggest if I were... Let's take the buffer dude. Let's take the swole man, Ryan, over here. If swole man... Rye Bread Supreme over here. If he started roiding up, and we saw his pure roid rage and confidence of just bodily muscle, we would all get buff.
Allow me to explain.
Yeah, that confirmed what I was thinking, yeah.
Bugs supplies the tunes with the Michael Jordan special stuff, as Ryan just said, to invigorate the team. It's an ordinary bottle of water, so their boost in ability is more because of a placebo effect than the actual ability to play, giving them better confidence in this next quarter, this next half. Much like the stolen talent of the NBA players, this is all related to confidence and performance, but here, the confidence is all that is boosted. The question becomes, does this film say that we need to believe in the power of performance enhancement, whether it is real or not? Or is it trying to cast doubt on all performance enhancement, stating that confidence is all that is needed?
I think that's what I'm getting at, is that all you need to be successful is confidence. These tunes become amazing in the next quarter, as you'll tell us here in a minute, because of this confidence boost, and it shakes up the Monstars a bunch.
Very true. I think the difference in what happens between the two teams is that there was an actual physiological change that happens to the Monstars when they steal the talent from other players. Whereas, hold on. Whereas, when the Looney Tunes get this confidence water placebo effect, a permanent physical change doesn't happen, but the effect in their game is that they start doing things more Looney, more towards their characters. They start actually using what they have as Looney Tunes to get the job done.
Let me counter that real quick. I'm not saying I disagree with you, but when one is confident, there's actually a physical change involved. It's not as drastic as the Monstars, I'll admit that much. But when you walk, for example, if you're not confident, you're going to slouch, you're going to look down, you're not going to make eye contact. When you are confident, chest out, walking in a good posture, you'll look at people in the eye, you'll look up all around. You're going to be confident in your walking stride. So that's kind of what I'm saying with that physical difference. That's what we were seeing with the Monstars.
Okay, I think what happens what happens with the Monstars is definitely more actual performance-enhancing steroid-esque. I think it's more of a parallel towards steroids, whereas what happens to paraloid... Yeah, shut up. Paraloid. I think it's a better parallel to steroids. That's really hard to say. As opposed to... Shut up! As opposed to what happens with the Looney Tunes and how their confidence gets boosted.
So at this point in the game, we are basically coming down to steroid abusers versus confidence boosters.
Yes.
Okay, just to put this on layman's terms, because that was a lot of talk. Bugs Bunny and the entire team roided up. And
that's how they placeboed up.
They placeboed up.
That's not how steroids work.
That they didn't
Well,
use
they're not steroids.
steroids.
They're placebo. It's making you believe you're getting better.
Okay, alright. I'm still going with my theory that Bugs Bunny and the whole team roided it up, and that's how you become successful in basketball.
Alternatively, yes, he may have laced the water, but we don't have any proof of that.
I mean, it's Bugs Bunny. I don't put it past him. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So on to the third
What
quarter.
is the special juice stuff? Or special stuff?
Well, we saw
It's
it-
2 parts hydrogen to 1 part oxygen.
And the scientific term is dihydrogen monoxide.
And also, a shit ton of meth. And I'm talking a metric shit ton.
Maybe a little sweet.
It's just been a question, though, so when we get to the third quarter here, you're about to describe.
That's how they make you lower.
If the Looney Tunes could do all these loony antics at the beginning, I get confidence was needed. But if they could have done this from the beginning, why were they at all worried? They could bring out guns, they could shoot dynamite everywhere, they could use scooters, damn basketball court. What were they waiting?
I think it was all about intimidation, honestly. I think they were so intimidated by the huge ass monsters about to put them in slavery that they couldn't really think of all the shit they could do to counter it.
Well, if you look at the history of Bugs has gone
I
through,
understand.
he's dealt with so much.
Wait, what
I
am I talking
understand,
about?
but
I
that's
need to look it
spooky
up.
as shit. I mean, you had these little guys with advanced technology threatening to blow up everything you loved if you didn't go into slavery. You challenge them to basketball thinking, okay, this is going to be an easy win, and then they become fucking, like, titans that show up on the basketball court like, hey, what's up? They were kind of spooked.
Attack on Titan's Looney Tunes spoof.
Yes. Oh, God. Internet, get on that. Please, get on that.
Alright, so I can read this a little bit. Third quarter, let's roll.
All right, so the third quarter kicks in. The Looney Tunes start running it, along with the help of MJ. They're catching up the score, and Danny DeSwagman is just all livid. He's just pissed. He's like, who the hell is this guy in the basketball shorts? Why didn't you get his talent? This guy should have been on the squad from the beginning. And Michael Jordan says, "Hey, if you want to talk to me, you talk to me. Don't talk behind my back or to anybody else."
And this is when Danny DeVito's like, okay, let me get my Magnum doll out here.
Yeah, he's like, "All right, so what would you have in mind?" And Michael Jordan says, "Well, let's raise the stakes here. If the Tunes win, your guys have to give the NBA players their talent back because these are his boys, IRL, and he doesn't want to just leave them hanging with no talent for the rest of their careers.
And what if we win?
If the Monstars win, then Michael Jordan becomes a part of the deal, and he has to spend an eternity at Moron Mountain as their star attraction.
With Danny DeVito.
With Danny DeVito as his boss.
With Danny DeVito and the glory of his chest hair and gold chain.
You'll sign autographs all day, and at the end of the night, you'll play one-on-one with the customers, and you'll always lose.
Drinking some booze.
So MJ agrees to the deal and says, "Yeah, we got this. I believe in my team. We're gonna hold it down." Meanwhile, Danny DeVito, the swag man, tells his underlings, the Monstars, to crush him. In which case, the Monstars start dominating again, where they just become out-and-out violent, literally trying to smash everybody on the squad. Like the Hulk. And so MJ and his players are down some talent. It's like a few minutes left, like a few seconds left in the fourth quarter. They are 1 point down. But he's looking for some talent, and Wayne Newman is just sitting there like, please pick me, please pick me, please pick me. And MJ really doesn't have a choice, so he subs Newman in. Newman gets like instantly flattened. I don't think he does like anything of use except for getting
The
flattened.
ball goes in the hoop.
Oh yes, you're right. The ball does go in the hoop, which puts them 1 point behind. So he almost ties up the game, but he's out, pretty much.
And that means they're down to 4 players.
They're down to 4 players. Marvin the Martian shows up and says, "Hey, I'm sorry to let you guys know, but if you guys don't find a fifth teammate, you're going to have to forfeit to the Monstars."
Oh, yeah. This is also when we learn, too, that the humans can stretch into weird proportions like the Looney Tunes.
That's true, because he was asking why Newman was able to flatten and survive getting smashed like that. And he says, "We're in Looney Tunes land. You can fucking do whatever you want."
Which is weird that they never expressed this until now.
Well, everybody else who's in Looney Tune land just knows this. So, and they figured they didn't need to tell Michael Jordan anything to up his game because it's Michael fucking Jordan. It's the greatest basketball player to ever live.
It was kind of like Gravity. People knew it existed, but they didn't have like a name or series.
Wait,
And they didn't really have to explain to people that gravity was a thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what's gravity? Does that affect my flat Earth?
God damn you, Aaron. Anyway, they're looking for a fifth player when Bill Murray,
Who saves the movie and the game?
somehow got down to Looney Tune Land. I'm still not sure how the fuck he managed it, but he's there.
And to quote Danny DeVito at this point, whoa, when did Dan Aykroyd get here?
It's perfect. It was perfect.
Great
He
reference. Great
he
reference.
says, perhaps I could be of some assistance. This is okay. We have our fifth player. That's the guy. He's gonna hold it down. And this is the total of Bill Murray's NBA career. So they get Bill Murray in there. Bill Murray starts coming up with this ridiculous plan to somehow get the ball to Michael, who's gonna wreck it after a series of like intricate passes. And MJ says, wait, Bill, we're on defense. Bill says,
I don't do
whoa, I don't play defense. You're gonna have to listen to Mike on this one. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Mike just says, guys, just get me the ball. I will get the last 2 points. I'll put it down. He says, keep that confidence. Put your paws in. Paws on 3. So as soon as who actually gets the steal? I can't remember who.
Daffy headbutts the orange guy.
Yes.
Charles Barkley monster. And that's when the ball drops and Bill Murray picks it up.
The ball drops. Bill Murray picks it up. He dribbles it for a little bit. Actually gets it to Mike. Mike is at the halfway from the court, and he jumps to start, flying to dunk the fucking ball in. Slow motion ensues. The Monstars start actually grabbing him from the ground to try and keep him from the basket.
And this is where he puts Mr. Fantastic to shame.
Yes, he puts Mr. Fantastic to shame by stretching his arm all across the court in a very overdone slow motion effect before finally dunking the ball for the last 2 points, winning the Looney Tunes the game. So, after a great celebration, Danny the Swagman is super pissed, just berating the Monstars, just super mad. And Michael Jordan says, well, why do you take it from this guy? He says, well, he's bigger than we used to be. They then proceed to stuff Danny DeVito's ass into a very small rocket and send him off to God knows where.
Which, by the way,
He's on the moon with the Orca and Tom Cruise.
Which, by the way, stuffing Danny DeVito in a rocket really is not that hard of a feat, considering how small he is already.
No.
It was a small-ass rocket,
He's
though.
a short guy, but he's very wide. You have to grease him up really good like a pig.
Yeah, but he's already greased up from all the sweat, and he was from the 70s.
And honestly, I think he's got a natural layer of grease from all the weird stuff he's eating.
Yeah, and he always wears a Speedo under anything that he wears, so
I watched too much It's Always Sunny.
The Sunny references are off the chain.
We love you, Danny.
Never change.
Never change, bud.
After saving the Looney Tunes
From Danny DeVito.
He gets the Monstars to keep their end of the deal and put the talent back into the basketball that they stored it in. Meanwhile, they beg Bugs Bunny to stay in Looney Tune Land because they didn't want to go back to Moron Mountain. Why the fuck? It smells over there. But after proving that they're loony enough to do this, they get agreed to stay as Looney Tunes. Meanwhile,
anything else ever again.
we never saw them out. We never saw them again. They only contracted for that movie. But let's see. At the end of this, Michael Jordan gets a ride from the Monstars spaceship back to Dodger Stadium, where he's dropped off in his baseball gear in front of everyone, literally just outing the existence of Looney Tunes to the world, really. But he arrives, Michael Jordan, here to play one last sucky game of baseball. before he
Leaving his retirement.
leaving his retirement. But before the movie ends, we happen upon the 5 NBA players who have, throughout the course of the movie, been trying to find ways to get their game back. All manner of testing, psychological things, psychics. The psychic who actually just told the plot of the movie, and they said, "No, that's too stupid. We're done. No, this is fucking stupid."
Pretty much mimicking the reaction of the audience that time.
Yes. But at the end of it, Michael Jordan pulls out this glowing basketball and says, "Hey, you want your games back? Touch the ball." They're apprehensive, they're reluctant, but finally they all touch the ball, they get their game back, and they start dribbling up. And MJ's about to walk away, and they say, "Hey, you should stick around, play a little 3-on-3. And he says, "Nah, I don't really want to do that." And they say, "Well, I guess it's true. Maybe Michael just doesn't have it in him anymore. Maybe he can't play the game anymore." And Newman looks to MJ and says, "You hear that? They think you can't play anymore." He says, "Well, I guess there's only one way to find out." And that was how they introduced that MJ was coming back to the game of basketball, ending the movie.
So, I just want to point out that was the longest synopsis for an Air Jordan commercial I have ever heard.
We did interrupt a lot with bold concepts and fun facts. That was really important.
Well, we also had to point out that Moron Mountain probably smelled like sweaty Danny DeVito, which is never a good smell.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it smelled anything better than Patty's Pub.
So, to be honest, I kind of have a migraine after this, just listening to this, because it kind of sounded like the writers lit up in a room.
Get lit.
They smoked their roach, and then they were like, maybe if we blow weed out, it'll work.
So admittedly, this is a very 90s film with some very dated ideas and concepts. Seeing it in the 2017, it's a bit out of place. Oddly enough, they are talking about a LeBron James sequel. Whatever that means.
Oh, jeez.
I looked it up, sequel potentials for Space Jam.
Yeah.
And there seem to be 3 potential sequels that have been talked about in the past before.
I was going to say, I think they officially announced something with LeBron James, last year or the year before.
I can't remember that, because when I was looking it up, there was no actual confirmation of what the story was.
Doesn't really matter, it's an Air Jordan commercial.
And the first one's in Air, but here's the thing, right? The other 2 possibilities, the one possibility that caught my eye was a Tiger Woods with golf.
Nope.
No.
Nope. That's not
You
all
can't do a Space
Tiger
Jam
fucked that
movie
up.
with
No, Tiger
golf.
fucked that all
No.
up.
I could see maybe like the extreme sports like BMX and stuff. And I could also maybe see football, but I would not go as far as
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Looney Tunes edition.
Yes!
Oh.
Yes!
You guys have, for the viewers,
Do it.
Ryan just busted a nut right here
Oh
in
my
Starbucks.
I think we're all on board for the Tony Hawk X Bugs Bunny.
All right, Aaron, you're going to write it and then...
Send it to WB.
Yeah.
Look, listen, they'll greenlight Suicide Squad. They'll greenlight this too.
Look,
Shots fired!
look, WB.
Oh my god, Looney Tunes Suicide Squad.
No, I'm done.
Stop. Stop. Hey, I'm just spitballing these multi-million
I
dollar
believe that was
ideas.
called Lunatics, and it didn't do very good.
Look, guys, here's the thing, right? WB is obviously out of...
Good ideas.
Not just good... No, they have good ideas. They just don't know how to execute anything good, because they're the Antichrist.
They know how to execute their own business. Heads are rolling here.
So
Oh, I'm
Ryan,
sorry. Necks are snapping.
so before we get into the opinions of the film,
Closing in 30 minutes.
before we get into the opinions of the film, Ryan, I have one last thing. It's not a bold concept, it's an underlying thesis.
Boy,
Okay, I'm going to summarize, because I actually wrote quite a bit here, because I wanted to make sure I get some good notes.
we have 30 minutes before they close, just so you know.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm going to keep it really short then. So basically, I want to say that this movie is a big marketing attempt here, and that it is a very weak attempt to explain why he left the game of basketball and why he re-entered the game of basketball.
Yeah, no shit.
I want to believe that a lot of the stuff is actually true and all historical. That's basically what I'm getting at here.
I could definitely see that. I mean, there was a lot of controversy as to why he left, and then decided, he's really not good at it. Let's get back to what we're good at.
And all he needed was just some cartoon creatures to tell him exactly how terrible he was at this game.
Yeah.
Isn't that all anybody needs?
Based off of this, It just sounded like some homeless dudes came up to Michael Jordan at one point and was like, "Hey, basketball's getting ruined. Can you help us?"
Honestly, I mean, watching it now, because I remember being like 6, 7 years old when it came out and loving every minute of it, even though I wasn't a huge basketball fan. And watching it now, I definitely see where the movie fell short, but it also is kind of soaked in nostalgia for me. So it was still really enjoyable, but I see exactly, like, why the hell did you even try to do something like this?
And I think for the two of us here, too, it was nostalgia heavy as well. We were both watching it as kids, and we both loved it. And so we're going back to watch it now, and I'm willing to make fun of it, because I love making fun of it.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Same here.
But it was still a fun time. You had fun, right?
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah?
It's the best movie.
I got her to say a line in the podcast. We're good.
Wait.
You were so quiet.
You guys all talk way too much.
Well, to be fair, I'm overanalyzing
that's
on purpose,
true.
and he synopsis this thing. You guys can interrupt whenever you can. It's part of the game.
By the way, I just want to successfully announce that mental checklist of making Ryan upset has officially been completed.
Nice.
By the
That
way,
means you'll stop, right?
No, that was just the first list.
All right. So let's give everyone in here now. So, good things and bad things. What are the good things of this movie you really enjoyed going back and watching this?
pure, just childlike joy. Like, as an adult, I can't really enjoy it that much, right?
Adult. Yep.
Adult and dog years. Come on, man.
Says the Babby.
At my age. Yeah, it was definitely full of
Can't punch her, so.
Nostalgia. Yeah.
So you get 2.
Aaron, what do you think was the good part about this movie? What do you think stood out?
I like the music. I mean, that brings back so many freaking memories.
Music's pretty
And
good.
just watching the Looney Tunes again. Yeah. And even just having the Bulls, and Michael Jordan, just like you said, it's a nostalgia. I just really love revisiting that.
Amanda, what do you think?
Ditto.
I try. I'm trying here.
I wish there was more Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah.
Bill Murray.
The movie could have used some more Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I would watch a Space Jam 2 if Bill Murray was the protagonist and it was just a whole spoof of if he had an NBA career.
No, because it wasn't golf. No golf.
No golf, please.
What if it would be better if Bill Murray was pulled into Looney Tunes role, not to be an NBA player, but to manage Looney Tunes into like a new
Manage
career
the
path?
Toon Squad?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, General
spell
Manager
it
of
right
the Toon
this
Squad,
time.
Bill Murray. Yes. Someone write this, please.
I would say my favorite part is definitely anything with Daffy Duck. He's always my favorite one.
Yeah.
But if we're going to talk about like just the movie as a whole, I would say just the bumbling idiocy of Newman made my day. Yeah.
Oh, great. I'd also like to add in, I love that they introduced Lola Bunny. I know it was eye candy in a lot of ways, but
They
it was
forced
nice.
that relationship so hard.
Oh, they really forced it, but it was really nice to have a female character step in and just be like, yeah, I kick ass.
So, fun fact for that, she actually does appear as a main character in the new Looney Tunes show.
Yes, she
was
does.
on-
Oh, does she?
I watched it and
It's okay.
it's an okay. It's not like bad.
It's like
Teen Titans
Seinfeld
Go.
style for Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with Lola in that show is, while in this movie she's confident, strong, and able to kind of do her own thing, she's kind of a nutcase in the cartoon show. Not in a way that makes her a completely unlikable character, but she's just so different. It's hard to get used to.
It's kind. I think it's because of the way that the show is set up is why they did it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I like how they did it. I feel like they could have done it better because there was a lot of potential as a character for Lola, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And they also added a female duck. I can't remember her name, though.
Oh, and I don't remember her name either, but she was actually a more fun character, I think.
She was a more fun character, but...
Did they make her for Daffy?
Yeah.
But
Of course.
Lola and the new one
But here's the thing, though. Their relationship is very weird. It's like they're together, but they're not together.
The swingers.
Yeah.
They're swingers.
I think it's like the Joker and Harley. Daffy is super indifferent to her existence.
Yeah.
And she's like, listen, you're buying me shit, okay? This is what we're doing here. Kind of like us almost, maybe.
I mean, Lola in the... Do you remember the lady from Blues Brothers?
No, I don't know. I don't think anyone does.
Okay, then never mind. That analogy is not going to work.
Okay. So, bad stuff in the film. Go. What bothered you the most about it?
It was a giant product placement.
Yep.
MJ can't act for shit. I love him when he
And that
cannot
marked
act.
the start and the end of Michael Jordan's acting career.
Yes.
Yeah. He has one less film than Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Shaq has two.
Shaq has Steel, the greatest superhero movie ever made.
Yeah.
And Shazam. I don't know what that's about.
Genie. It's.
Yeah,
I
Shaq
watched
is a
that when
genie.
I was a kid.
Okay.
Was it good?
Yes, the best GE movie ever made.
You didn't even know what it was about 2 seconds ago.
I feel like I know what I'm going to watch as soon as I get back to
Alright,
the
guys, I
attic.
think we should end this on. After seeing this movie, do you feel the need to buy Air Jordans?
No.
No.
I can't afford Air Jordans. They're too expensive.
Yeah, that is that.
If
And
we
I
could keep
can't
donating
play
our
basketball,
Patreon, I will
so-
buy Air Jordans with that Patreon money. Just for the podcast.
Yeah.
For the podcast.
I would probably trip in them and smash my face on the ground. So.
I'm more of an Adidas person, personally.
I like the Skechers Go Walks. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I want them Heelys, Joe. They light up.
Dude, you're right, man. Heelys.
What about those shoes with the skates in it?
That's the Heelys.
Oh, that's a
Heelys.
Heelys. Okay.
And I kind of want.
Yeah.
Imagine how good transportation. I will debate. Heelys innovated supremely.
Alright, guys, let's go get some Heelys that light up. Yeah. Let's do this.
First off, though, if we're closing down the podcast to go get Heelys, we should determine the next movie.
Two things.
Okay.
First, we have to rate this movie real
Yeah.
quick. So out of 5 basketballs, how are we rating this film? Actually, wait, change that. On a scale of, what's the Mexican mouse's name?
Speedy Gonzalez.
On a scale of Speedy Gonzalez to Bugs Bunny, how do we rate this film?
A crusty Danny DeVito.
I think that's an adequate description.
Yeah.
Crusty Danny
A
DeVito.
crusty Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I agree with that rating.
That's a good rating.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've rated the movie. Ryan, you are up next on our list for the next movie. What
Rye
on
bread.
earth are you picking? We've been waiting for this for a week.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. It actually kind of kills me because you guys actually already.
Thank you for listening to the Space Jam podcast. Again, next time we should be doing the Jurassic Park first movie from 1993. So please be sure to watch that if you want to join in on that discussion. And if you've already seen it a million times like I have, maybe watch it another 1,000,000 times because there's really nothing wrong with that. See you next time, and if any kind of questions, emails, responses to Jurassic Park, Matrix, or any upcoming Studio Ghibli movie, we're doing all of them to evacstation@gmail.com, and we'll see you after the credits.